Hey everyone, I'm back for day 8 of my 12 days of Christmas, and I'm using the Wishes card book from Close to My Heart. And I'm going to be doing, the card I'm going to be doing today is this one's 3 Wishes card. And this particular card starts out with like a side open card, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit so that I can make it a top open card. And I've used a piece of colonial white cardstock, and again this piece is a top open, so I'm tweaked a little bit to make 4 3/4 by 3 inches, and a piece of colonial white cardstock. Then I need a piece of pattern paper that's 4 1/2 by 2 3/4, and I've used a piece of the snowflake paper from the Aspen paper packet. Then it calls for a couple of accent pieces that you saw on the first card. They are, let's see, one of them's 2 1/2 by 1, the other one's 2 1/4 by 1, and the other one's 2 inches by 1 inch. But what I've actually done is ended up just cutting the Christmas trees that I want on the card. I've used the evergreen stamp set, and I'm using the 2 Christmas trees down here, and I've cut them at that dimension so that they fit on the card well. And I'm going to show you, I actually stamped this one in Twilight, and then I went through and I did some clear embossing on the top of it. This one is these ones are a little bit different. I used a rock and roll technique, and I stamped the Christmas tree in creme brulee, and then I went and rocked it into the Twilight stamp pad. And I'll show you how I did that really quick so that you can kind of get an idea for those of you who haven't seen it before. You take your stamp and you stamp it in your lighter color to avoid any kind of contamination. When you do this technique, you want to start with a lighter color, and then you go and switch hands, and you just rock it into that darker color, and you'll end up with an image. Over here so you guys can see. You'll end up with an image that looks a little bit like, I don't know if it's like a dark outline. Sometimes it looks kind of like tie-dye. I don't know what you want to call it, but that's basically the effect that you'll get. So I've done that on these other 2 Christmas trees, and I've already cut them out. So we'll go ahead and get started putting the card together. I want to have the 2 smaller Christmas trees, I want them in the background, and I think I'll use the embossed taller Twilight Christmas tree in the foreground. So what's great about this book is that the ideas that they give you is 109 ideas in there, and the ideas that they give you are really just kind of starting points, because you could even end up, tweaking them a little like I have and turn this card the other way, or turn the map the other direction any direction that you want, and you can come up with quite a few more options for that. So I'm adhering my 2 Christmas trees in the background like that, and then I'm going to adhere with foam squares the taller Christmas tree. And what I do, this is another tip, I'm sure people have already figured this out, but I don't throw away, after I've used my glue dots or my foam dots, I don't throw away the outside of them, or the around the outside. I cut those into smaller pieces to use also, and they work really well. So I'm going to do that for this Christmas tree as well. And I'll put this, like I said, again in the foreground of this card. Just like that. And there's what we have so far. Then I'm going to use the Seasons Defined stamp set. I used this in, I can't remember if it was day 5 or 6, and it's just got some words on there and then the definitions of those holiday words. And I'm going to stamp it in Twilight. Sorry if I'm moving the table. And I'm going to just put the sentiment up here in the corner of the card. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of more things, I think, to it. I want to add one of the adhesive backed pearls to this, to the taller Christmas tree. And I just kind of use my paper piercer to get a better grip on those little pearls, because sometimes they can be very slippery and I never seem to get them in the right place. I'm also going to use another small piece of the foam adhesive on the back of the pearl, so it kind of helps to hold that heavier pearl up off the card as well. Okay, so I'm also going to do some liquid glass on the sentiment that I stamped, the joy. I'm just going to outline it really quickly. I probably should have done that before I put the pearl on there, but you learn from your mistakes, I guess, right? Okay, so I've liquid glassed that and put some pearls on there. I'm also going to add a piece of this is the Dimensional Elements, and it's basically bare chipboard, white chipboard, and it can be stamped, it can be inked, or not anything. You can paint it, whatever. And there's just buttons, there's just all these borders on it. And I'm going to use the scallop board. I've already cut out a little piece and I've sponged it in the Twilight color. So there it is. And I've actually cut it just a little bit long. I was originally going to put it on the side here, but I think I like it better as something that goes along the bottom. So I'm going to adhere it with I'm going to try the ATG gun, see if it'll work. Sorry, it's rolling very slowly. Why is it doing that? Sorry, a little technical difficulties with this ATG gun. How sad, I've never had a problem. Okay, how about we do this? We might just have to use glue dots for this, as opposed to... Sorry, I didn't have my glue dots out and ready. I always have the hardest time with the smaller glue dots. Oops. Let's use these other ones. Okay, so we'll adhere that to the bottom to kind of give it a border along the bottom. And then I'm also just going to snip off here the excess piece. And since I sponged that, I'm going to kind of go through and sponge it so you can't see, or you can't tell where I cut off. Alright, so there is the card for day 8. I hope you guys like it, and don't forget to leave a comment. You can do that on my blog at www.ruth.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you for day 9.